So tonight we are looking at actually a combination of limb 4 and limb 6. We're going to be looking at the tapas and the dharana, which we've already talked about the dharana before, but we're going to use them in combination because that is going to be your best tool to make it through the week. So there's 8 limbs as I mentioned. We've talked about these before, the yamas, niyamas, anasana, pramayama, pratyahara, dhyana, Dahara, Yana, and Samiti. Okay, I might have said it out of order, but those are the different 8 limbs. And this week we're going to look at the 2 limbs, as I mentioned, the tapas, which is actually one of the niyamas, which is the second limb, and then the dharana, which is the 6th limb. Tapas means inner fire. So that's discipline, heat, willingness to show up for something day after day, especially before there's anything visible to show for it. Okay. So the tap is that inner fire, that reason to do something, to keep showing up, even when there is nothing proving or maybe feedbacking that it's worth it kind of idea. Then we got the dharana, which is that single pointed concentration we talked about. So the practice of returning attention again and again to a chosen, I got a new accent, a chosen point. So alone, each is kind of incomplete this week. The tapas without the dharana is fire, but nothing to burn towards. And the dharana without the tapas is you don't really necessarily have something to focus and put your fuel on. So, what you planted in one sentence under this Gemini new moon, super moon, what you want to say to the world this week, um, the 4 different moons are going to whisper 4 different things in your ear. So be safe, be seen, be perfect, be in relationship. So that's really one of the background energies. The tapa is the fire that keeps you showing up every day regardless. And then the dharana is what's keeping you returning when you show up, the fire and where you point it at.
Okay. Why are tapas and Dharana the right prescription for this particular week with so much movement happening? Why?
Well, the way to think about it is the seed doesn't grow by chasing weather. Okay. So if we think about that, you don't actually grow by chasing growth. Growth happens naturally around you, right? It grows because something inside of it that keeps doing the same thing quietly, reaching towards the light. That's why seed grows, right? It keeps showing up and reaching towards a light no matter what the weather is doing inside. Is that seed. So the moving the numerology moving through this full cycle, and then Chiron entering Taurus with the solstice arriving, all of that is the weather. The tapas is the reaching, the dharana is the direction it reaches in. So if you want to become whatever each day's moon asks you, safe on Tuesday, seen on Thursday, perfect on Saturday, you'll scatter your seed before it roots. The tapas and dharana together is showing up daily and coming back to one sentence. So it's keeping the focus on what you want to seed in this new moon, the super new moon for the solstice as well, right? So does that make sense?
I guess so. That's a
Yeah, I
that's a
guess so. I
description.
guess so. I guess it kind of makes sense, right? So that
Not my
the
world. This is your world. So I'm just embracing it and looking as excited as possible.
exactly. So the idea is it's a practice, one sentence every day, and that's what you're going to focus on and put the energy into. So say the new moon sentence out loud, one thing you planted tonight, so tonight would be the night, just once you're going to plant it. That is your single point, your dharana, and then do one small action connected to it. Doesn't matter how small. That's the tapas. That's the fire, the discipline, the showing up. So if you want to start a business and that's what you're going to manifest over these next 6 months, you would say your sentence, I am building whatever business. And then the tapa, which is the action behind it, would be doing something, whether it is starting a website, starting a page, starting a piece of content, making a video, that type of idea. And so it doesn't matter if the day's moon is asking something different. We want to focus on what you're building, right? And that is the way to make it through. That is using this fire and focus to seed and plant under this Gemini new moon. It doesn't need you to do everything dramatically. It just needs you to come back to what you're planting. So just that with intention all week long. Do one small thing to continue building towards what you're creating, and the moon will move through the 4 signs on its own and will help present those. I really do believe you'll, by doing those actions, the other actions will present themselves as you go through the week. So don't even get hung up on what each everyday action is, right? So do the one sentence, one action every day. That is the fire pointing at one thing, and this will give you the new beginning. It's shaping by the time we get to the solstice next Sunday. Does that add clarity? Does that kind of make
Hey,
it a
no different than one video a week to YouTube to build up your YouTube, right?
exactly?